Blur is the newest racing game from Bizarre Creations, the same developer responsible for the Project Gotham racing franchise. While it doesn't have much of a story, the basic premise of Blur is that you're a street racer trying to make a name for yourself, garnering fans through taking on established opponents. It sounds like pretty standard racing fare, but the twist of Blur is that in this world, cars can use weaponry against one another. Completing races or specific in-level objectives unlocks lights and fans, which unlock opponents and new cars respectively. The single-player game is essentially a series of races wherein you attempt to complete the specific demands of your current rival. Once you complete your opponent's demands, you get to face them in a one-on-one showdown, where winning means you get to take their car. That is, if you can actually manage to beat them. No small feat, I assure you. The basic premise of Blur sounds great when you hear it described, but the game just doesn't come together as good as I'd hoped. The cars look pretty good, though it looks silly seeing real-world cars shooting weapons like Mario Kart, but the environments are boring, and in general, Blur doesn't look nearly as good as other contemporary racers. The interface is also tacky. The on-screen HUD is way too busy, though the rearview mirror is a nice touch, and the music is just downright boring and forgettable. Not that the cars are the only good-looking part of the game. During the game's chaotic 20-player races, I have to admit the explosions and visual effects associated with the weapons look impressive, even if they can become a bit distracting. Blur is hard. Really hard. I consider myself pretty decent at racing games, but if you can't drift like a pro, then you're going to have some serious trouble with this game. Heck, even if you can, you're still going to have trouble because just as you're getting into your groove in the race, the AI is going to blast your face off with some sort of weapon. I played the game mostly on the normal difficulty, but at some point I had to turn it down to easy just to have fun against the brutally skilled AI. The weapons are a cool addition to the game, but in the larger races, the sheer amount of combat going on was more annoying than anything else. It's hard enough to negotiate 19 opponents who seem to always be faster than you, and to focus on driving the tough tracks, but having to dodge and attack at the same time makes the game feel overwhelming at times. There's nothing more frustrating than managing to fight your way to the top just to have the AI dash your dreams of victory with a series of shots that feel like the game just wants you to fail. Not that fighting human players is much better. Sure, there's something to be said for how much fun it can be smashing your friends with a well-placed weapon, but the 20-player online matches quickly devolve into a chaotic mess where getting first is a secondary concern to just trying to survive amongst the fury of firearms. Thankfully, this is largely not a problem in the game's fun team-based races and battle modes, which are, to me, the best way to play Blur. And if you care about unlocking items in multiplayer, don't worry, Blur's got you more than covered with a host of levels to gain and mods, essentially stat-boosting items, to unlock. While I can't recommend the career or chaotic free-for-all multiplayer of Blur, the online team-based events and smaller races are actually pretty fun. The additional career levels, like Checkpoint and Destruction, were also pretty good, but it's pretty telling that these, where you don't really have to race and shoot, it's generally one or the other, were the better. 4-player split-screen play is also a welcome addition, but I feel like Blur is more of a party game that's fun in small doses, rather than the addictive online behemoth people wanted it to be. For more Blur coverage, as well as the review, go to IGN.com.